Elias Vega was pretty sure he was about to become the first human being to die of alien-induced embarrassment. "Tell us again about your planet's propulsion systems," said Ambassador Nix, her 6 eyes blinking in an unsynchronized pattern that Elias had come to recognize as the Zurian equivalent of barely contained laughter. The holographic display behind her showed Earth's most advanced fusion drive, technology humanity had spent decades perfecting. To the gathered representatives of the Galactic Conclave, it might as well have been a child science project. "As I was explaining," Elias said, forcing a diplomatic smile, "our Helios-class fusion engines can achieve 1/10 light speed with." The chamber erupted into a cacophony of sounds, clicking mandibles, whistling proboscises, and what could only be described as alien giggling. 1/10 light speed, mimicked Delegate Vrun, the gelatinous representative from the Mira system. His translucent body rippled with amusement, the equivalent of slapping his knee. "And they're so proud of it." The Conclave's great chamber, a massive synthetic diamond construct suspended in the neutral space between galaxies, had become Elias's personal hell during the 3 months since first contact. As Earth's chosen diplomat, he'd prepared for hostility, fear, even violence. What he hadn't prepared for was becoming the galaxy's favorite comedian. "Perhaps," Vrun continued, oozing across his hovering platform, "the humans could upgrade to hamster wheels. Might be faster." This sent another wave of alien laughter through the chamber. Ambassador Nix silenced the room with a graceful wave of her upper limbs. "Elias Vega of Earth, please understand, we mean no disrespect." Which was, of course, complete bullshit. Disrespect was precisely what they meant. 3 months of it. Earth had gone from jubilation at discovering we weren't alone in the universe to the crushing realization that we were essentially cosmic hillbillies. The Conclave has observed 17,000 species reach spacefaring capability, Nix continued with practiced diplomacy. Each follows a predictable technological trajectory. Your people are, simply earlier in that progression. Earlier. As in, 15,000 years behind the most primitive Conclave member. Ambassador Nix, Elias said, straightening his shoulders, Earth understands our technological limitations. But we have other strengths. Yes, yes, interrupted Delegate Crow, a crystalline being whose voice sounded like wind chimes in a hurricane. Your adaptability. Your creativity. All juvenile species claim the same exceptional qualities. Elias felt his comm unit vibrate against his wrist. A message from General Santos back on Earth, POTUS says play the card. Authorization granted. Elias swallowed hard. This was moving faster than expected. Earth's intelligence agencies had predicted they'd have at least 6 months of diplomatic maneuvering before revealing their ace. But with the Conclave's dismissive attitude accelerating, the timeline had compressed. Actually, Elias said, his voice suddenly steadier, I wasn't referring to our adaptability or creativity. Something in his tone changed the atmosphere. Several delegates shifted uncomfortably. I was referring to our military capability. A new sound filled the chamber, the Conclave's translation matrices rendering laughter in dozens of different biological expressions. Even louder than before. Ambassador Nix didn't join in. Her eyes narrowed, the upper pair focusing intently on Elias while the lower one scanned data on invisible screens. Forgive me, Delegate Vega, but our scans of your solar system detected nothing that would constitute meaningful military technology by Conclave standards. You detected nothing because we chose not to show it, Elias replied. The laughter quieted. In the sudden silence, Elias could hear the soft hum of the chamber's environmental systems. An interesting claim, said Delegate Vrun, his gelatinous form now perfectly still. Yet your civilization still burns fossilized plants for energy on parts of your world. You've barely touched your own moon. Your communications still use electromagnetic radiation. Each statement dripped with condescension. True, Elias conceded. And yet, if provoked, we could obliterate any fleet in the Conclave. Or all of them simultaneously. This claim was met with stunned silence, followed by what the translation matrix rendered as nervous tittering. Ambassador Nix leaned forward. "That is a dangerous boast, Delegate Vega." "It's not a boast," Elias replied. "It's a fact I've been authorized to share as a gesture of transparency." The conclave representatives exchanged glances, their various anatomies expressing skepticism in species-specific ways. Elias recognized the shift in the room, from mockery to assessment. They were trying to determine if this was a bluff. "Explain," commanded Nix. Elias activated his datapad, projecting a simple schematic into the center of the chamber. It showed a human figure with neural implants. "Project Chronos," he said. "A military initiative developed in parallel with our space program, but kept entirely separate and hidden." "Neural enhancements," scoffed Crow. "Many species develop rudimentary brain-machine interfaces. They offer no meaningful military advantage." "These aren't just neural enhancements," Elias continued. "They alter the subject's perception and manipulation of time." The silence in the chamber deepened. "You claim to have developed time manipulation technology?" Nix's tone was openly skeptical now. "Even the oldest conclave civilizations have only theoretical models for such capability. We don't manipulate time itself," Elias clarified. "We manipulate human perception and reaction to it. Our soldiers experience time at an exponentially expanded rate. What feels like hours to them passes as milliseconds to everyone else." "Impossible," declared Vrun, but his gelatinous form had paled slightly. 500 elite soldiers, Elias continued, each experiencing time at a rate 1,000 times slower than normal reality. From their perspective, they have hours to react to what you experience as a fraction of a second. Hours to analyze, plan, and execute. The implications settled across the chamber like a heavy fog. "Even if this were possible," Nix said carefully, "your weapons are still primitive. Time perception changes nothing if your technology is ineffective." Elias smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. "When you have hours to act in someone else's split second, even primitive weapons become remarkably effective. Our soldiers could board your vessels, access your systems, and disable your technology before you registered their presence. They could redirect your own weapons against you. They could systematically dismantle your fleets piece by piece while your crews experienced only a momentary blur." "This is fiction," Kral insisted, but the crystalline tone had lost its certainty. "Perhaps a demonstration would be appropriate," Elias suggested. Ambassador Nix conferred quietly with several delegates, their voices too low for Elias's translator to catch. Finally, she turned back to him. "The conclave requires verification of such claims before they can be considered in diplomatic relations. We will dispatch an observation vessel to your system within 3 cycles." Elias nodded. "Earth welcomes the opportunity to demonstrate. Though I should warn you. Once we reveal this capability, the nature of our relationship will fundamentally change." "Is that a threat, Delegate Vega?" Nix's middle eyes narrowed dangerously. "Not at all, Ambassador. It's simply that relationships work best when built on mutual respect. Something that's been lacking in our discussions so far." As the session adjourned, Elias noticed the delegates' attitudes had shifted. The mockery had vanished, replaced by cautious reassessment. Some eyed him warily as he passed. Others huddled in small groups, speaking in hushed tones. Back in his quarters, Elias contacted Earth. General Santos's face appeared on the secure channel, the lines around her eyes deeper than Elias remembered. "It's done," Elias reported. "They've taken the bait. They're sending an observation vessel." Santos nodded grimly. "And they believed you?" "They're skeptical, but concerned enough to investigate. They'll arrive expecting to debunk our claims." "Perfect." Santos allowed herself a small smile. "And the rest of the plan?" Elias glanced at the hidden compartment in his quarters where the real technological miracle lay concealed, not a weapon, but something far more powerful. "Everything's in place," he confirmed. If I'm right about their psychology, we won't need Project Chronos at all. The idea of it alone will do most of the work. And if you're wrong? Elias thought about the dismissive laughter, the months of humiliation. Then we give them a demonstration they'll never forget, he said softly. One way or another, they'll stop laughing. 3 days later, the Conclave observation vessel arrived in Earth orbit, a massive diamond-shaped ship with pulsing bioluminescent patterns across its hull. It positioned itself in full view of Earth's major population centers, a show of technological superiority that wasn't lost on anyone. Elias stood with General Santos on the observation deck of the International Space Station, watching the alien vessel with narrow eyes. They brought a warship, Santos murmured. Weapon systems running hot. They're scared, Elias replied. And scared aliens tend to overcompensate. Ambassador Nix's face appeared on the main display, all 6 eyes open in formal configuration, no hint of the previous mockery. Delegate Vega, we've arrived to verify your claims regarding this Chronos capability. We request a demonstration. Of course, Ambassador, Elias replied smoothly. We'll transmit coordinates shortly. After the communication ended, Santos turned to Elias. You're still sure about this approach? Elias nodded. The psychology profile on the conclave species suggests they'll respond precisely as we want. The demonstration site was a military facility in the Australian outback. The conclave representatives, Ambassador Nix, delegates Vrun and Krau, plus a security detail, were met by Elias, Santos, and a tall man introduced as Commander Reed, Chronos Division. Nothing about Reed suggested superhuman abilities, mid-40s, sharp features, military posture. The central chamber contained a weapons range, testing stations, and a chess board. Chess. Krau's voice chimed with disdain. It requires strategic thinking under time constraints, Reed explained. A perfect baseline demonstration. I'll play against your most advanced AI, Reed proposed. The alien scanned him, confirming he carried nothing beyond a standard neural implant. A holographic interface appeared, displaying the conclave's tactical computing system, capable of calculating billions of moves per second. The parameters are simple, Reed explained. Tournament rules, 3-minute limit. Your AI moves at full capacity. I activate my Chronos implant when we begin. At Nix's command, the game started. Reed's demeanor changed subtly, his eyes gaining an unnerving focus. What happened next defied explanation. The AI made its first move. Within microseconds, Reed responded. The AI moved again instantly. Reed's hand was already moving to counter before the AI's piece settled. 10 moves in, the aliens watched in disbelief. Reed was playing at the same speed as the supercomputer, his hand barely visible. After 27 seconds, Reed announced, checkmate in 12. The AI froze, recalculated, then displayed, verification complete. Checkmate unavoidable in 12 moves. Impossible, whispered Vrun, quivering. From my perspective, Reed explained casually, that game took approximately 8 hours. I had plenty of time to consider each move. The target's demonstration was even more convincing. Reed fired 14 shots in what appeared to be a single fluid motion, hitting the exact same spot on each randomly moving target. How many of these Chronos soldiers does Earth possess? Nix asked, her voice tight. 500 currently active, replied Santos. A Chronos soldier could board your vessel, move through every compartment, access any system, neutralize your entire crew, all while experiencing hours of operational time. To you, it would appear as perhaps 2 seconds of unusual blur. Delegate Vrun's body had paled to near transparency. This technology changes the balance of power in ways the Conclave cannot accept. That's precisely the point, Elias interjected smoothly. The balance was never what should have concerned you. Rather, it should have been the opportunity for mutual respect. He led them to an adjacent chamber containing a single black cube on a pedestal. "This is the true purpose of today's demonstration," Elias announced. "Not to threaten, but to offer an exchange." "Explain," demanded Nix. "The Chronos technology was developed through a discovery in human neuroscience. This cube contains the complete research database, along with our proposal for its peaceful application. Imagine surgeons with hours to perfect an operation that physically takes seconds. Imagine disaster response teams with subjective days to rescue victims in the critical first minutes. You're offering to share this technology?" Nix's disbelief was evident. "With appropriate safeguards and treaties, yes," Santos confirmed. "Earth doesn't seek domination, just a seat at the table. As equals." "And what does Earth want in exchange?" asked Crow. "Respect," Elias said simply. "Technological exchange. Cultural integration. And an immediate end to the demeaning treatment we've received." After careful consideration, Nix straightened. "I am authorized to negotiate preliminary terms for Earth's formal recognition within the conclave." Later, as the alien shuttle ascended, Santos turned to Elias. "You were right. No bloodshed necessary." "And when they realize the Chronos technology doesn't actually work the way we demonstrated," she asked quietly. "Reed's neural implant is just standard hardware. The chess game and shooting demonstration were staged illusions." Elias smiled. "By then, it won't matter. We'll have established our position, gained access to their technology, and begun collaborative research that might one day make Chronos real." "A magnificent bluff," Santos murmured. "Not a bluff," Elias corrected. "A demonstration of humanity's actual superpower, understanding psychology, even alien psychology. The conclave species all evolved as prey animals. Their instinct when confronted with a superior predator isn't to fight, it's to negotiate and incorporate." Reed joined them, loosening his collar. "Did they buy it?" "Completely," confirmed Elias. "Your performance was perfect. Earth's finest hour," Santos agreed, "and not a shot fired." As the conclave vessel prepared to depart, Elias received a final communication from Nix. "The conclave extends formal recognition to Earth as a Level 3 civilization with special capability designation. We look forward to a productive relationship." Humanity had turned mockery into respect without firing a single shot, not through superior firepower, but through superior understanding. The last laugh, as humans had known for millennia, was always the sweetest.